Right, here's another interesting set. It's a realistic TRC2003 remote, which is the Easy Rider version with the handset with the channel change and all that. These were quite expensive at the time. I think they went through two pricing structures in 1983 when they came out. I've got a recollection they were £149.99 in 1983, and then they came in as a new low price in '84 at £129.99. One of the few sets on the UK market, certainly at that time, which were crystal filtered as standard, and you could also buy an extender lead so that the radio could be mounted in the boot of your car and the handset on your dashboard. I've got half a dozen of those remote leads brand new in boxes in stock. Isn't that handy? So these suffer from a problem. The transmitted audio is awful, and there's a simple modification. As you know, I'm not into modifications, but it's so woolly and bassy as these come out of the factory that it really does need something doing. We'll go through that, and I'll do it to this set if we can get it to work. It's come with a power lead and half a fuse holder, so we'll sort that out, take the lids off, get the factory service manual out, and get on with it. Okay, so we've taken the lids off, and I've got the service manual out, and I've done myself an adjustment chart so I can tell you what's what. I have to admit I've never looked at the VCO of one of these before. There's a screening can. I've taken the lid off that, and clearly there's a test point just there. I couldn't spot it in the manual, but that's clearly the test point. These were made for Tandy by GRE, General Research Electronics in Japan, and along with their shortwave receivers like the DX160, the realistic 1001 walkie-talkie, you know, the big chunky one with the silver range booster side panels. That's another product which was made for them by GRE. So they're always good things, but you won't see this chassis used in anything else. And I don't know whether I mentioned earlier, these are one of the few sets at the time which were crystal filtered as standard, the filters there. So we will get on with the VCO, and that is a matter of selecting. I'll switch the radio on. One thing that needs the volume control cleaning. We will select channel 20. I am surprised. And we need to check that we're somewhere around about 3 volts. So I'll put the test probe on that test point. Huh, 3.04. If it wasn't, we start off with the receive on these sets, so it's channel 20, test point 1, which is this little tag here. I'll zoom in on that and then you can see it. So right next to that VCO coil, we've got a little tag just there. Okay. That is L14, which is VCO receive, and that is trimmer capacitor 1 behind the crystal there, which is the frequency set, and this is, sorry, that's TC2, and TC1, which is a transmit VCO, is that one just there. So that's TC1, transmit VCO, TC2, the frequency set. So, I'll just let that come back out again, and then you can see what the meter's reading with me. I can hear it receiving right now, so we know it's not miles out anyway. So, back to that, we've got this negative problem. So we've got 3.04 on receive, we've got 3.2 on transmit, and the radio is transmitting. Yeah, the radio is transmitting at tiny power. Perhaps it's on low power. It was indeed. So we don't need to adjust TC1 either, but again it would be set for 3 volts in transmit mode with the pin on, with your prod on there. So that's the VCO. So I'll switch off, put the cover back on. Okay, that's got the cover back on. So our first thing to do, I'm going to find the trimming tool wherever that's gone. Is in transmit we're looking for L4 for a start. It's L4, L5, L8, T1, T2, T3 and set power with VR1. So here we go. Where's L4? Well, we'll start with transformer 3. Let's go into transmit. The radio is doing 3.5 watts. T2, T1. I don't know why the service manual said the other way around, but you wouldn't start at the output end. Then I need to change tools because that's a hexagonal one for L8. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that needs the blue tool. Right, so having gone in a different workshop to borrow myself off another engineer's bench the RS blue tool, we'll carry on with L8. Followed by L4. No, L5, which is that one in it there in the corner. Now that's made a major difference. That's now spot on 4 watts. And then finally we need to adjust L4, which is there. That's just over the 5 watts. Then the power is set with VR1. And VR1 is the preset potentiometer just down there. And there we have it, it's spot on 4 watts. So that certainly brought it up half a watt, and in this radio's case it was that one which was out. So I'll just go through those again. It was T3, T2, T1, L8, L5, L4, and then variable resistor 1 to set for 4 watts. Now this radio has low power, but it isn't adjustable. The manufacturer says that if it's between 0.1 watt and 0.4 watt, then that's okay. So I'll now switch to low power, and it is doing, I'll work that one out, 1.3 watts, 0.13 watts, 130 milliwatts. So that's within what the manufacturer says, even if I think it's daft. Now the frequency, of course, on channel 20 should be 2779125, and this radio is producing 2779118. I should have adjusted that when I had that can off. I'll just switch the power off, just take the can back off. That was a silly mistake. And it's TC2. just bring that up. As I've said many times before, they drop with age. And now they're 30 years old. Some radios are on the edge of them being within tolerance, but this has gone a treat, no problem whatsoever. And then finally on transmit, because I've got no meter to set, there's the deviation to check. And the deviation is VR2. And VR2 is the preset somewhere down there. Can I see that? Well, I'll pause the video till I can find it. Well, I found it, got a torch at it, and it's just under the beginning of the wiring to the multi-connector, just down there. Right, so we'll get the oscillator going. I'm going to transmit. I'll switch the other camera on so you can see this as well. So we're into transmit. I've got 1 kilohertz deviation. And there we have 2.5. Okay, so that's fair enough. But I'm going to put the monitor receiver on because just see whether you can tell over the feedback what this sounds like. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. They're very woolly. So I'm going to next do a video on modifying these for improved transmitted audio, and it's a matter of stripping that handset down.